Hello everyone, I'm Chris Wilson, and behind me this is the Aurora. During the mid to late 1950s, this ship was considered to be one of the most technologically advanced and luxurious ships on the face of the planet. She was the first ship that Germany was permitted to build post-World War II. These days I spend just about all of my time living and working aboard, trying to get this ship back into a condition where ship fanatics from around the world can actually come out and visit and enjoy what this rare ship has to offer. Since I started my journey on YouTube, so many doors of opportunities have been just kicked open. This ship's actually likely to see a very prominent future. And that's why I'm so excited to bring you this next video. It's a testament that hard work truly does pay off. Before I jump into the main video, I'd like to announce that the 2023 Aurora Restoration Project t-shirts are now available, and you can get yours. Just click on the link in the description below. When I designed these shirts, I wanted to make something completely different than the designs that we've had before. I'm a little more proud of this design, even though it took a lot more effort to get it ready for print. I hope you enjoy watching the process. It's actually as fun as it looks. Last month, I had the honor of being invited to CES Las Vegas by one of our sponsors. This event was one of the most amazing experiences I've had in a long time. 2,500 booths of consumer electronics. There was no way I was going to see all of this in just 4 days. Needless to say, there's no chance I'll ever miss this event again. So I actually traveled out to Las Vegas to CES to hang out with EcoFlow during the event, and some of their new products are pretty insane. I'm looking forward to actually testing some of them out. I invited along my good friend and Aurora crew member Steve. We literally wandered the floors from open to close, seeing all of the cool products. I was definitely focused on things that could complement the Aurora, and we found a lot. One of the booths that really caught my eye, however, was the booth that was set up by the people at Modern Flames. From the moment I saw this fireplace, I knew it had to go behind the bar in the Aurora. This thing was insane. This group was kind enough to send us over one of their fireplaces, and now we got our work cut out for us. For the next week or so, we're going to be installing this in the bar at the Knego lounge. So this is our new electric fireplace for Modern Flames. Before I take this thing out of the package, however, it's time to get to work on the bar. We got a lot of work to do before we're going to be able to install this thing. So first things first, I had to remove everything away from the bar so I could start the new construction. Okay, so now we finally got it. I got the bar clear and I'm ready to kind of start cleaning things up and dismantling some of the stuff that we put in here last time. I think we're gonna leave the tiles up because I think it's gonna just be easier if I left the beautiful tiles there. And plus, I think it would be causing us more trouble to dismantle that than just to leave it alone. Last time I worked with this bar, I added this piece of teak in right here, a piece of teak plywood. And now that teak plywood has to come out. I mean, before we recessed LEDs behind it to kind of give this all a nice little glow.
A few years back, crew member Dave Foster decided he wanted to tackle the bar, so he added some tiles and changed a few things, and it actually looked pretty good. We're just upgrading a little bit, and I think that this fireplace is gonna be a game changer.
So the fireplace itself is 6 inches deep, so we're gonna have to actually bring this entire wall, we're gonna have to bring it out exactly 6 inches. My idea is to actually have the fireplace sit just above the height of the bottles so that they don't interfere with the actual light show. So I have to measure out the average size of the bottle, and we're going to keep the bottle short. I'd like to keep it the average size of a standard bottle.
Unfortunately, it's goodbye to Dave's beautiful tile work. So the first thing I did was went to work on the frame, but unfortunately it was a windy day, and here goes the camera. After setting up a new camera, now it's time to get cutting. Every piece of wood has to be cut absolutely perfect. So now it's time to start assembling the frame. I didn't have a countersink bit at this time, so I had to use 3 different bits in order to make this work, and it worked out pretty good.
So this is teak veneer. It's a thin layer of teak wood that they shaved off so you could basically glue it to other pieces of wood to make it look like teak. And last year I bought a large sheet of this. This is what's left of that sheet. And I took a piece of hardwood plywood and I glued it to that sheet of plywood. And if you've ever done that before, you have to do some special things so it doesn't, warp up and get a bunch of bubbles in it. So I had to stack 5 heavy sheets of 3/4 inch plywood on top of it, and I put a bunch of weights on that and I let it sit for like 2 weeks so that it would dry without any bubbles or any imperfections. The idea was to use that piece of plywood in a cabin, and I was going to take several pieces of plywood and do the walls in complete teak. Never got around to that project, so I'm going to use that piece of plywood behind the bar now in that rectangle space that we're going to mount the Modern Flames fireplace. After we're finished cutting that piece of plywood out and actually mounting it, then I have to try to match this honey color of teak stain that they put on this stuff, and I have to try to give it a gloss. Okay, so here is our piece of teak veneered plywood, and it's all ready to cut. So I have to take the measurements that I actually wrote down on a piece of scrap paper. So the tape does 2 things. It stops the wood from splintering, and it also allows me to see the line a little bit more clearly when I'm cutting. So I'm using a little bit cheaper of a saw because it has a new blade and it's a fine tooth. So this is the choice of saws for this cut. I just hope that the battery has enough charge in it to make it all the way through this cut. This will be a nice piece of wood to use for another project. Okay, right now I'm fitting the fireplace. I went down and I measured the dimensions of the back of the fireplace, and that's what I'm cutting out right now. So it's going to go in this section, and this is going to be the lower section. So you'll understand it a little bit better once we actually install this thing and put it on, and I think it's going to look pretty good. And that's it. That's the exact dimensions of the fireplace. So I have to cut this section out, and then this is just basically a beauty trim ring.
Once this frame is complete, then I got to put the plywood over it, and hopefully it'll be a perfect fit. Now I have to build another frame for the top of the bar. This one's just a little bit smaller. Both of these together will hold the plywood, which will in turn hold the fireplace.
Okay, now I have the top piece ready. I'm going to see if this thing fits. I didn't really check to see if it was gonna fit. I just measured it up. So hopefully I measured once and I don't have to take it apart and cut it down. So I'm gonna stuff it in here right now and let's see what it's gonna do. Okay. It looks like I'm gonna have to shave it down a little bit.
Always remember, measure once, cut twice.
Okay, I shaved about 1/10 of an inch off of this thing, and with a little luck, I guess my next stage is I'm gonna go ahead and mount these in. I'll screw them into the sides and into the ceiling and into the bar, which is also wood. The next step will be putting the teak board in over top of this. And I don't really want to put screws into the teak board, so I may have to take these things down. This may get kind of tricky. Look at that. Just about perfect. Honestly, these guys should win some awards for packing. Wow, there's a box inside a box. So I got my friend Joe over here today, and he's gonna help me lift this big heavy sucker into position. We're gonna put it behind the bar over here. And this is Joe.
Hi guys.
So
I'm gonna help Chris. It's heavy and he can't lift it.
So it's heavy and one guy can't lift it because it's like, what would you say? About
About 150 pounds.
I would say that that's pretty accurate. About 150 pounds, and it has to go over the bar and into the bar. It's definitely a two-person job. There's no way I could do this, so I'm glad I got some good help here today.
I think first we're gonna lay it on its face because I wanna make sure that's gonna fit in the frame.
Yeah, all this stuff is just a little bit awkward to deal with one person, especially on a big project like this. That looks like
It's gonna work.
had to cut this thing like 4 times to get it to fit right, and now it kind of fits right.
That'll work.
Good. So we're gonna have to take and countersink. I got a countersink over there.
Okay.
Screws.
This is called mistake 101. When you get a drill bit that's bigger than your screws, and you go and drill it, and the screws go right inside. There you go. Yeah.
I think it's less effort. Now it's time for the big move. This is gonna be fun.
Yep.
Looks like I want to grab the whole thing right with the handle.
You hold it.
Okay, I got it.
And go.
Well, it's installed, but unfortunately, it's not yet complete. I kind of have a dilemma. It's been pointed out to me that typically fireplaces are surrounded in tile or stone, not teak plywood. I spent a lot of time on that teak plywood, veneering it and making it pretty, and I hate to see that go to waste. Is it gonna look better in tile or stone, or is it gonna look better if I make it match this stuff here? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below, and then I'll show you in the next video what we've decided from your comments.